Smell that fresh zoo air. Get up close with the locals. Bask in the serene Serengeti. Meet the giant of the sky. Take a flight to Sumatra. And if you're lucky, spot a unicorn's butt. Alright, let's spin this around. So, today is early entry at Taronga. It's sunrise with the seals. Let's check this out. So, because I got here right at 8:30, this is the lineup of zoo friends just to get into the foyer. So, the park still won't open for another 15-ish minutes. So the crowds have just been released, which is where knowledge of the park comes in handy now. So it's a seal show, which means there's seating, which means I need to get down the front quickly. Most people are taking the main way straight down the middle. One thing I learnt when I did this on a Friday once and I was first in line, take this way. So as I was saying, early entry here, a bit like rope drop in Disneyland, especially if it's not standing room like the elephant talk or the chimp talk. This is seated, so yeah, I think they do cap it, especially for this one, because I got an email saying that it's a full house. But yeah, so when it is seals, you want to get here early to get the best spot. Spin truck coming through. And first time I did this, I think my first one might have been the seals. I was here early enough that I was at the front of the pack frontish of the pack that I went this way while everyone went the main way, and I did manage to get down there first. I just didn't go in the front row, you know, where the splash zone is, so I missed out on seeing Kobe close up. I was a few rows back, so I had to rely on my zoom. So this time, if I can, I'm aiming for front row, because who knows who they're going to bring out. Oh, they've actually got the doors open this time. That's new. Alright, let's try this.
Taronga, we believe in the power of choice.
Speakers in the meeting today, Angela, Michelle and Jacob. Now we're really excited because we've got all our zoo friends here this morning. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Makes it nice and cosy, and with your help you've been doing some really exciting things for us. So Zoo Friends have supported a lot of programs here at Taronga Zoo, and today we'll explain what some of those programs that you have supported and given us right here at Taronga you might expect. Why don't we take a look as Angela gets Cisco to go for a walk. Now watch as he uses all four flippers, something that eared seals, which are fur seals and sea lions, do really quite well. And he got up to the top in no time at all. But it's in the water, of course, where they recognise the animal we're talking about. We want you to go there. What is it? You're right, kids. Sure, you can give them a loop downtown and even in their beach area. Everyone, how about a big welcome to Diego and his trainer Jacob. So, Kat and Michelle are moving in nice and close. Now what's going to happen is Kat's going to touch Diego on the flipper, or he's just going to lift it on cue, and she can have a good look at that part of his body. You see, what Diego understands is what Jacob is looking for is not unreasonable. And it's all part of the ongoing care of these absolutely precious animals. Notice now, by pecking on the chest, he's actually quite comfortable with that. If you're ever lucky enough to see a seal in the wild, certainly don't get up as close as this. Give them some room, they can move pretty fast, and they can be quite dangerous. So when the seals are much younger, what we do is reward them for allowing our presence nice and close to them, eventually touching them, and of course then getting up nice and close as you saw just then. That's a really great way to start off what we know as husbandry, which we'll show you in a moment, but have that big wave goodbye to Diego. So it's up to us to locate a potential issue. So, to show you how it's done, I'd like to introduce you to Pepper and Michelle. How about a hi for them both? Now, you get a hi right back. Now, Pepper and Michelle have been working together for many years, making these sorts of things really quite important. So what we're demonstrating now is Pepper's husbandry routine with Michelle. Instead of doing it earlier, we're doing it right now in front of him. So getting him to sit nice and still is really quite important, but if you notice a little hand movement from Michelle got Pepper to open his mouth on cue. That way Michelle can check Pepper's teeth, but also around his mouth and his tongue and all those parts of his body too. Sitting nice and still and getting the eyes and the ears checked, well for us as humans when we go to the doctor, that can be uncomfortable. But you notice here the good example of that rapport that is built between the trainer and the animal, built on trust, allowing that to occur. Now, some of the things that you've contributed as zoo friends are things such as seal-operated water jets. Now, it happens down around our Seal Bay area at certain times, usually overnight or in other areas when no one's around. Seals are trained and are being trained, touch their nose against the button, and a jet will come off and they can actually massage themselves. Some other things that we're working on as well, of course, are floating platforms, which we use quite a lot, and your contribution helps us with that. And we're also looking into bubble curtains as well, changing things up all the time, and that's known as enrichment. As you walk around the zoo today, check out a lot of the exhibits and you'll notice that we're involved in a lot of important enrichment. Now, of course, providing food, water and shelter for animals is important. Enrichment is also important because it stimulates the animal mentally, giving them problem-solving opportunities. Let's meet another one of our seals that came to us well over 10 years ago. Now we're building a new wildlife hospital here at Taronga Zoo, and of course that requires a lot of money and donations too, but we get over 1,000 native animals brought into our wildlife hospital every year. This little animal came to us, he was little at the time, after being found on Bondi Beach here in Sydney, post a really savage shark attack. Now we didn't think he'd survive, but he has, and remained a great ambassador for his species. So everyone, how about a big welcome for Bondi? He's breathing up that grey Jake. Bondi is a long-nosed fur seal, or traditionally they've been known as New Zealand fur seals. They're also an Australian native species as well. Now people often tell us that they see seals in Sydney Harbour. By the way, just to make sure that this is a positive experience for the seal, just as much as it is for all of us, we just ask that during this time you're doing what you're doing right now and remaining nice and relaxed and seated, and of course please don't. Now if you listen carefully right here, just there you can hear Cisco taking a quick breath of air. What you're seeing is a natural behaviour which is known as porpoising, and that allows animals just like seals and dolphins, even penguins, to travel in an energy efficient way.
So a couple of things in that. When they brought Bondi out, brought him right past the camera. So I have 4 cameras on me. 2 I completely forgot about, one being the GoPro in my right hand and the one on my face. But this camera that I'm talking to now was too zoomed in, so I don't think I used that. Otherwise it's probably an extreme close-up of a fur seal's face in that shot package just then. But yeah, and my 360 camera decided not to fire when I did the GoPro-like thing where you leave it in like a sleep state, and you can just press the button to activate it. But yeah, it's doing weird stuff, so I didn't get that shot, unfortunately. But it's next year. But another thing that they did tell us was that when the tigers get their like daily checkups done, they've actually, the keepers have taught the tigers to put their tail up against the fencing so the keeper can grab it and take a blood test if needed. So that was a cool thing to find out that I didn't know before. See the water buffalo down the back, our little head in the middle there. There you go. Also forgot to mention it's 9:15 now. Park only opened 15 minutes ago for regular guests. So perks of Zoo Friends, I guess. You get that show early, plus you get spit out into the park a little bit earlier. Alright, Harry just went into his barn and these doors are open, so let's see if we can see him or if he's going to hang around the ends again. So I'm fairly sure that this rhino here, so I think I mentioned previously that it might be new. Not sure if I mentioned in my last video though that it's poking around here on Google Maps, and I actually found it up where Tiger Trek is now, where I'm about to head. And you know where the New Africa bit is. I believe it used to be in there or somewhere else around here, but yeah, I found it when I was poking around on Google Maps in Street View, because they've got some really old Street View here that still has that area if you want to go check it out. Also, I remembered halfway through the show that I forgot to bring my hat, so today's not going to be fun.
It looks like we clipped the storm now. We have a strong tailwind behind us, make it really fast flying now. Actually, we're flying over Sumatra now.
I'll take a moment to enjoy the things, look at some close-ups. Some bears which are in the exhibit next door.
Yeah, good job. I know I'm the worst mother in the world. It's the worst day of your life. I'm okay with it. Go look.
the tiger run. Yeah, not sure if you can see. Where's my finger? There's my finger. Right there. That looks like a kind of roll feeder type thing, so you can put loosened hay in it. Plus, that corner there is slanted, so I'm fairly sure it is.
Have a look in the window. That's her son.
See the lizard up there on the rock, Odin?
So I spoke to one of the volunteers here, and she confirmed that that is actually a walkway for them. That was cool. Casual. Also, when I was looking at the close-up of the tiger that jumped up and was eating off the bamboo, it reminded me of a book that I have at home from Dreamworld, a really old one from Tiger Island, and it's actually got on one of the inside covers a bit of kind of tiger fur, like artificial one that you can feel, and it's the exact same pattern and everything, and yeah, just got flashbacks to that. If I remember and or could be bothered, I'll see if I can find it when I get home. Hi, future editing Justin here. So, found the book. So, first page, got Mohan and Bakar on one side, and then just here you've got like that texture I was talking about. So it turns out it's just kind of a bit of textured page, it's not actually felt or anything. Same thing on the back, but I believe this one has like a cutout line going down the side that you can kind of see the ants there. But yeah, Dreamworld, not dated, but yeah. Also, another thing, because I don't think it was exactly clear in the video, is that the top of that ranger station is this thing has no published date. Anyway, yeah, there's a runway over the top so that they can kind of move the animals between exhibits and stuff. That's what I was saying. I asked one of the volunteers or keepers there, and she confirmed it. Okay, just quickly again. I did find a date on it. This is from 1996. So this is 30 years old. Christ, I'm old. Oh, ducklings. So the next bird show is in like 45 to an hour, I think, or 11:30, which is an hour 15 away. Anyway. Come down here, you've got that great view, you've got that next spot along that anyone that's seen enough of these videos knows I really like. And yeah, then everything else is over on the steel side of things. Don't know if you can hear that screaming, but they're black cockatoos. They're a red or a yellow. There it is. I remember getting that in my ear a lot. That was fun times. Figured while I walk I'll give you the story time behind that. So I used to volunteer at John Moroney Prison out in Mandilo. This was 2012-ish, late 2012, early 2013 I believe. So this is part of my course to do my zoo work. I was there for, I think, a better part of a year or so. This is around the same time I was doing Walkabout and Wildlife Sydney. So I used to mainly do seeds because I like birds. Really did not like doing the emus area though. The other options were like the carnivore birds, which the tawnies weren't that fun. But yeah, so doing seeds, I was in with all the cockatoos, the major Mitchells, everything. That's basically the one place where all of those bird bites came from in my birds I've been bitten by clip. So yeah, the red tail, Squeaky, named for a reason. She used to land on your shoulder, lean right in, and just scream in your ear. I think she was next enclosure over before we moved into the big one because she was such a menace. It was called Big Girl. She was a yellow-tail black, and her nickname was Bismarck because she just destroyed anything we put in with her. She regularly got heavy metal poisoning because of it. So yeah, that was fun. Children are on the move. Getting flashbacks to Lake Placid right now. Reminds me of the tidbit that one of the biggest predators for moose are orcas, or orcas are moose, because they can dive to like 7 meters down. Alright, so before I go and explore the rest of the zoo today, I'm going to go get my coffee from in there, but before I do that, I'm going to go in here and see if I can find that pin. Just come around the back. There's the Asian elephant one. But they don't seem to have the Great Migration one. Alright, found one. So there's one there, 4 behind. And you'll find the Farewell Elephants one, so you can see the difference there between the two. Alright, secondary limited edition pin secured. Time for coffee. So I like to, where possible anyway, grab 2 of limited edition stuff so that if one goes wrong, or I can just actually use one before existing and the other gets locked behind in the spoon cabinet. Coffee acquired. We've got to the drafts and lines and stuff. Looks like they're doing giraffe talk.
Communities that live amongst animals like giraffe, and these women use their tribal work to make these really cool articulate bracelets and jewelry, which we sell here at the zoo. The sale of that bracelet goes back to these women, gives them this secondary source of income, so that way they don't have to heavily rely on farming and agriculture and come in conflict with animals like giraffe. But I just want to say though, on behalf of myself and the whole team here at Taronga today,
So he was just talking about beach wildlife, which is right here, it's just, as usual, not open. It's rare that I do seem to see it open, and when it is, it's largely not consistent.
if you were a pride of lion stalking an animal like Jinyu and he was sitting on the ground, that will be a very easy meal because it does take giraffe a few seconds to awkwardly get up.
I wasn't recording when he said it, but he just mentioned that giraffes only sleep for about 20 minutes a day.
Take flight, and this is where giraffes are absolutely dangerous. Jinyu there's
And they can do it
75
standing up.
centimeters tall.
Alright, let's skip the family reunion and go for the lions. I love this little owl. So that building there is the Tiger Trek Ranger Station. You've got the old mountain goat thing. It's just been built over what was. Lions are now. So.
Wir dürfen die aber auch nicht anfassen.
Was heißt hier?
So they also do experiences here. Make that one. Feeding giraffes over there. I swear, when he foxes out, even more rare. Somewhat doing something. Standing up. There's more baby dogs. I wonder how many more videos I have to do here before I stop being a vlogger who just really likes coming to the zoo and exploring interesting places, and I start being a zoofluencer. Alright, it's been a while since I've been in the ARC, so let's give that a shot.
Look at them ones over there.
Oh.
Scrubby is right here. The things that are here.
Solo Paulo.
So all pythons are not venomous?
Where's the chameleon?
Alright, just came out of the ARC. Not too much new. Got some half decent shots though. Now I'm going to head down towards the aquatic half now. Check out the seals, the area that was under construction last time I was here. And then back up through straight. I smell popcorn, and that's because it's right there in that nest box. It just occurred to me that this is probably the only zoo where peacocks don't have free reign. Instead they gave it to the bush turkeys. Day for it. Okay, so for first time in a very long time, I haven't seen the Andean condor in his exhibit, which means he's probably in the bird show. So I'm going to jump over to that.
They're out here and they're hunting all sorts of introduced pests, much like rats and mice. Now these pests can cause a lot of problems for our native wildlife. They'll sneak into trees, steal young birds or eggs straight out of nests on Curlew. And this individual is called Uma. Now while she can fly, she much prefers to stay on the ground, what we refer to as a ground-dwelling bird. And
now the Andean condor is a type of vulture, and like many of her kind, she feeds by reaching deep inside dead animals to get to all the soft juicy bits that are inside. That's a very messy way to eat. That's the reason behind her relatively bald head and neck. It's not there for us to judge her appearance. It's there to keep her clean and healthy. Now, any blood and guts that collects on her skin when it dries, flakes right on off, and then she gets to stay nice and healthy. Now, fishes are facing enormous pressures all around the world. Some species have declined by as much as 99% just in the last 20 years alone, which meant that diseases that impact on people are on the increase, like anthrax and rabies. Now, we may not have vultures here in Australia, but we have many scavenging birds that help to fulfill similar roles, like ibis, so you can hear, eagles.
Hi everyone.
That was good and rare to see the condor still in the show. Haven't seen her in a while, so that's good. They did that instead of the tawnies, I believe, which are normally doing it. There was a hoppers activation moment. It's cool. That's so rare to see it on the floor, let alone in general. I think it's probably the third time I've seen it in there. That's somewhat highlighted there. So it looks like they replaced the wood down there, and it's so fresh I can smell the piney smell. Also an uncommon side of the pelican here not being a menace. Got one of them possibly now swimming down there, and someone's just sunning themselves. So a lot of these things have been activated now, and one of them even has like floating traction, which is cool. Little pup. So he's got the whole exhibit to himself. Little seal even has his own little water slide. See the steps, slide. So it looks like all this is reopened, but the goats hasn't. shed's still open, you just need to go through the other side. Just noticed the crest of the house. It's Major Mitchell, I believe. Alright, I've done a lot of walking, not much filming. Nothing really horror anyway, but nocturnal house.
It's up there, it's hanging up.
Next one's will be.
Oh my god, this is scary.
That was good. Saw the koala in there for the very first time. Platypus was a little crowded. Long Echidna was out doing its thing more than usual, so that was good. Here's another experience happening, but with the dingoes. And there's a Cappy experience too. I'm in the gift shop right now and I just know something I need. Giant plush cassowary. Alright, so I'm back in the car now. Busy day. It was like just full in general. But those school kids, keeper for a day, lots of people walking around with blue books doing stuff that weren't like official zoo stuff, and all that. So yeah, amongst that, heaps of new stuff that I haven't seen in the last 2 weeks. But yeah, saw a few things that I don't normally like, the quoll and all that, so that was good to see. But yeah, so today was early entry, so as usual it's Plaza at 8:30, gate at 8:45, talk at 9:10, and then main gates for everyone else at 9:30. So you do get a bit of an early runoff. You can see some of the animals on your way there as well, I believe. So it's early entry, make use of it where you can. I forgot to bring my hat, so I'm probably a little more tired than I normally would be if I hadn't. But it's also a warm day today. Car says it's 25, but I'm also, you can see undercover parking. But yeah, got my pin as well. So yeah, that's some perks of Zoo Friends. Suggest joining. Every dollar counts. Zoo is one of the only ones in the world that's not for profit, so everything gets thrown back at the animals. For example, like in the seal talk, a guy said that there's the seal activated jets so that they can kind of massage themselves. They're looking at getting some bubble curtains and stuff, which is just all in all enrichment for the animals. So yeah, do suggest coming out, checking out the animals, the new things, buying what you want. Everything's for the wild. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Don't forget to touch some native grass.